Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Jared Sebesta of Taatjes Financial Group, where we build purposeful retirement plans. At Taatjes Financial Group, we believe retirement planning is so much more than just preparing financially. Our goal is to help retirees and pre-retirees steward their time, talent, and treasure. We have the tools and proven process to make sure your retirement plan delivers the greatest purpose, impact, and legacy. If you need help building a purposeful retirement plan specific for your life and your retirement, please give us a call. Our number is 222-4236. You can request a meeting online at taatjesfinancial.com. And if you are in the neighborhood, just stop by our office. We are located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer, building purposeful retirement plans. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. We appreciate that. Before we get started, just another reminder, coming up next week, a week from Thursday on November the 16th, Understanding Social Security with Tim Mattern is making a return. Social Security is the primary source of income for 69% of retirees. It becomes one of a major player in the role of creating retirement income for retirees. When to take it, how to take it is much more complex than merely waiting till you're 62 or 65 years old. In this seminar, Tim Mattern is going to cover everything you need to know so you can make an informed, educated decision on starting Social Security and maximizing the benefits. Again, it's coming up a week from Thursday, November 16th at the Oaks in Wilmer. Starts at 5, ends at 7. Dinner is included. It's totally free. However, you have to register by going to our website, taatjesfinancial.com. Space is limited, so if you want to go to this event, it only comes around a few times a year. Make sure you go to our website, taatjesfinancial.com, and reserve your spot today. Ben Taatjes joins me on the show here once again. And again, we love this seminar. It is right in tune with what we're trying to do with people. We talk a lot about wealth versus income, turning wealth into income. Social Security is yet another, again, cog in the wheel of the machine of producing income for a retiree.
Yeah, Jared, I think, we're used to and conditioned, right, our whole lives to get used to a regular recurring income. So in our careers, you're paid every, a couple times a month or whatever that is. But again, that looks like what Social Security becomes, right? So instead of you looking at an account and saying, I'm going to withdraw funds, I'm going to turn that money into, from wealth, which it is on paper, to income that I'm using, Social Security, I think for most retirees is easier to take. It's just that, continual source of income that they're able to just dip into and not necessarily see their account go down. And, for years, people said, Social Security's not going to be there, Social Security's not going to be there. We've been talking about that a long time, but right now, Social Security's there. And for most retirees, it plays a very important role in their life.
It gives people a lot of freedom, confidence, because you just kind of know that check is coming. And we've mentioned on the show many times before the psychology behind that. It becomes some of the easiest money to spend because it doesn't really feel like yours. It is yours, but it just feels like, again, cash flow and income, and it seems like that's easier to dip into than the proverbial pile of wealth that people have accumulated over the years.
Yeah, that pile of wealth is like it's a stockpile. It's the money that typically you look at. It's on my bank statement or my financial statements, and until I actually to make a withdrawal from that, it does not really help me. It is useless on paper, and once you actually start using it, that's the key. So again, anytime we're helping retirees look at their financial situation, it comes down to making sure they have regular, consistent income. However you get there, that's to be decided in a meeting with your financial person. So when we sit down with clients all the time, we're saying, okay, how are you going to get normal income? How are you going to spend that income? And many times, Jared, what I find with retirees is they actually benefit from a budget. Yes, a budget. And that budget helps them spend that money, right? It gives them freedom to really just flip the switch from saving to spending.
Yeah, again, if you have questions on Social Security, this is a bridge you're going to have to cross at some point. So if you want information, again, one more shout out for Understanding Social Security on November 16th at the Oaks. Ben, let's talk about staying upbeat in a down market. So many of the news cycles, so many of what we see on social media, on TV, is negative, but let's spend some time talking about some positive aspects of what we see in the world and in the markets.
I think first, Jared, you start just telling people to keep it in perspective, right? And I think that's really important. I can remember a meeting, it was actually quite a while ago, but it left an impact on me, where I was visiting with one of our clients that came in, and I said, "How are you doing?" And he came back with, "Well, I'm not doing very well." And I remember saying, "Well, why not?" He says, "Well, you should know. You've seen the markets." I'm like, "Well, no." I said, "How are you doing? Not how are the markets doing." I think that's really important right in the onset of that question, is just say, "Hey, realize that there should be a separation between how you feel, right, as a person, and what the markets are doing. Because if you let your day-to-day mood, if you let your how you feel about life be determined by what the markets are doing, I gotta tell you, that is not a place that you want to be." So, that's some of our job as an advisor, is to help people see through that, maybe even to call that out and say, "Okay, don't forget, the past times that we've been here, you've looked back and said, wow, that was an opportunity to make changes." And that's how we tend to look at it, is what are the things that a down market creates for opportunities?
Yeah. There's a saying out there that says the trend is not my friend. That, of course, applies to down markets. Probably also applies to up markets in some respects, because the opposite's the true. That doesn't mean that the only time you're ever in a good mood is when money is growing and all of that. That's not really what we want either.
No, Jared. So whether it's an up or a down market, I'm all about looking at opportunities that creates, right? So if it's a really high up market, maybe it's time to do some year-end donations of stock, sending stock to your favorite charity. Maybe the timing is right for you for that. Or it's a down market, kind of like we've been seeing lately. Maybe really, we're about 10% lower, Jared, than we were back. If you look at the S&P 500 from late August till today. And, when you look at that number, it's like, well, 10% off the 2023 high is significant. But what if you wanted to do a Roth conversion this year? Oh. That 10% pullback was like a gift. So assuming that you believe that long-term the markets will rebound, that would tell me that 10% reduction in price just allowed you to convert more from your traditional IRA into a Roth IRA, right? So again, it's all about looking at whatever spot we're at with the markets or your portfolio and saying, what are the opportunities today? Mm-hmm. What is the goal of this money? And then really using that money, stewarding that money as best you can.
Yeah, great point. So now here we are heading firmly into November and winter, approaching year end. What are you telling clients?
Well, we sit down with clients again. The last couple months of the year are important because you really have a good picture of how did my financial year turn out, right? Was it a good year in business, bad year in business? If I'm a farmer, was it a good year, bad year? How, where am I sitting for income? Does that leave room for Roth conversions? Does that, what kind of capital gain expectations do I have in my, non-qualified accounts? Are we able to harvest losses? That's another thing that a down market opportunity is hey, if you have an investment that may be down, that doesn't mean that you sell it and stay out. But if you're able to get out of a certain investment and then harvest the loss, take the loss on paper at least, that allows you then the opportunity to benefit in some way from that loss. Now, don't hear that as, well, we're going to sell low and buy high. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you're able to sell something that's down and buy something very similar to that, that will hopefully rebound for you, you've at least taken advantage of what we see as a down market. So I think this time of year, it's all about strategy. It's all about laying out a plan and figuring out what's the best way we can make the most out of, whether it be an up market or a down market. And I think that's what it comes down to, Jared. We have to be planning with clients right now, and that's what we're actively doing, is sitting down with clients, going through the keys of their financial plan, making adjustments, right? Because that is part of any good financial plan. It's, you set it in motion, but then you have to follow through. And as the market changes, as your situation changes, you have to be ready to make a plan change.
Absolutely. Sounds good, Ben. Well, if you are listening from home and it is time for you to start your purposeful retirement plan, now is the time, and we can help. We've got a number of ways you can set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. First, like we said at the beginning of the show, you can give us a call at 320-222-4236. You can request a meeting online at taatjesfinancial.com. And if you are in the neighborhood, you live in West Central Minnesota, stop by our office. We're located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer, building purposeful retirement plans. I'm Jared Sebesta, joining you on this episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Securities offered through Avantax Investment Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Avantax Advisory Services. Insurance services offered through an Avantax affiliated insurance agency.